you can basically form three clusters: modular structure, then component collective structure, and allocation structure. So allocation structure is mainly focusing on one software is so allocation is, as a name implies here, allocation structure is focusing on assigning the mapping software units, basically software units into elements in the environment where we have to whatever it is the program has to be developed by people. So that means focusing on development groups, right? After development, they have to be deployed to be software to be executed in certain hardware structure. That is deployment, right? Then once source code is developed, it has to be assigned certain execution part. That is at execution level. Deployment level we discuss that's basically concerned on once software is developed, it has to be assigned for physical resources to be executed. The deployment view concerned on this respect. I think Mama, I introduced you deployment diagram, UML deployment diagram, which can be used to as a pictorial representation to show where these modules are being running at execution time. For example, now you write a program, then create an application, develop an application. It has to be at runtime, be deployed in some kind of hardware. So deployment style capture that descriptions. For example, here now, this is not in a UML notation, but you have yes, the processor, server, and these computers and other servers which application programs are running, and the client, a customer who connected through these programs to the internet. Even though this is not diagram is not drawn in a UML notation, but it generally captures the idea that where we should, which kind of computer resources, hardware resources we should use for the execution of the software. That's the idea here. It could be computer hardware, or it could be other network hardware can be involved. Then we move to allocation structure. In particular, then allocation is a work assignment view. So in the work assignment view, main focus is that you try to distribute the development process, development activities into the human components to your projects and project teams and within the project individuals. So there have been tools have been using for this purpose. So work assignment view represent a mapping of the software architecture into the human component, where actually people who are responsible for the creation of this actual designing and coding and so on, right? For example, create the design specification, create the requirements specification, write the codes, who is going to do testing, who is going to create testing plan, who is going to overall coordinate this process, project management, right? So a lot of tasks has to be then monitored, controlled and supervised by many human components. The work assignment, you capture this idea. Now, even if you purchase some software from outside, maybe commercial product, still there is responsibility of, there's a process involved. Actually, you have to purchase that one, procure that one, then you have to test that one. Ultimately, then you have to deliver it and install in somewhere in the customer side. Then maintenance work. Still, whether you build software in-house or you get software from outside, also this human activity component is important. So, what work assignment you describe the mapping of software architecture to the teams in the development organization. Simply mapping the software architecture and its elements. The work task will be assigned to the people involved in the development process. So what are the software elements that involved here? What are the elements involved? Elements are the software modules, software codes, maybe design aspect, whatever it is. Then other environment entities like the other people, the individual groups. So organization units, it could be a team or individual person, or it could be something that you outsource, subcontract. So may style the elements in modules. Aniteka kauda may modules develop the other people who are human resource involved, right? It could be in-house or outsource the people from outside if you are going to outsource them. The relationship is then allocation. So software element is allocated to organizational unit, meaning that it could be a team or individuals. So this diagram captures this idea, right? You have the software modules, units. You see, in fact, this diagram nicely captured the general idea. You have these software elements here, not yet implemented. They are supposed to be implemented. Then work assignment to style concentrate on the people here, right? So this will be assigned to the human component in order to develop the product, right? So here, the computing platforms, these programs are going to run on this hardware. So this hardware part, this area is the human component who are responsible for development, right? So allocation structure, as name implies, allocation of your software modules into hardware and allocation of your software module into the human resources for the development, right? Then one more to be considered, that is implementation. So this you capture the implementation, not execution, implementation. So implementation style shows software elements being mapped into file structures. For example, simple example is that now you have a unit now it's supposed to be developed, then what is the relevant source code of this software element? What is the relevant source code? What are the relevant design documents? So මේ diagram එකේ තියෙනවා මේ විතර මේ cabinet එකක් දාලා තියෙනවා. ඒක අදහස් කරන්නේ මේ ultimate මේ units කොහෙද store කරන්නේ? ඒ කියන්නේ මොනවද මේ corresponding source code එක කොහෙද තියෙන්නේ? Corresponding documents කොහෙද තියෙන්නේ? is cabinet work, right? Cabinet work. Storage as far as storage is concerned. It's about file management, bookkeeping. So your modules will be mapped into software structures like what is the source code name, then what are the design documents, what are the test plan and testing records are stored. So all documentation stuff is concerned here. All documentation is stuff. It's true that you want to develop a system, but it has to be developed by people. It has to be which is captured in work assignment view. Then they have to be run on certain hardware that is captured in deployment view. Also, it's required that documentation work is required. So once the software is implemented, the collection of all files you created has to be grouped together, packed together, and it has to be delivered into the operational area. For example, now we have a collection of executable files. There are data files, library files. So all these and version files and etc. Then they have to be all collected and somehow documented before it will be developed. The installation style capture this view. So software elements are the item configuration items, source code files, folders, and we have these components, whatever it is, anything that we execute. So they define two types of relationship, allocated to and contained. Allocated to relation connects software components into storage places, files and folders. So we are going to store this software counterpart. Store files, files, folders. So you should be able to recognize these files among the files which could be a large collection, thousands of files, hundreds of folders could be there. You should be able to recognize them whenever it is required. So allocated to these relations mean that software components will be mapped to files. That means what is the relevant source code, where is the relevant source code, what is the relevant subdirectory, files, folders, and so on. They may have files store where they are going to store, what are the subdirectories and so on, the folders. And also there could be relations between the containment. The folders themselves have kind of relationships because one folder might contain inside another folder. For example, if you take a zip file like that, it is a container for many other files and folders. So installation you get the capture and documentation use. Ultimately, once your software element is developed, whatever it is, whoever developed it, it has to be documented where this, what are the relevant source code, what are the relevant design files, what are the relevant configuration files. So where this is going to be stored, as far as not hard drive is concerned, but at least the file structure is concerned. File structure කොහොමද මේ store වෙන්නේ, නම් මොනවාද, මොනවාද source code file, එතකොට පාවිච්චි කරන library files මොනවාද, ඒ වගේ නම් packages මොනවාද zip කරනවා නම් ඉතින් ඒ zip file එක ඇතුලේ content එක ඒ වගේ විස්තර තමයි මේ instruction view එකදී කියපේ. So instruction view describe the mapping of components in the software architecture to file system, basically. File system in the production environment. So your software elements will be mapping into the file structure. File structure. So software elements can a program, whatever it is, code you are developing, the where these programs are going to store in your cabin. Basically, UML does not propose any diagram for this one. That its idea has to be captured, represented in taking a generic view. Maybe present in diagrams, you have to use generic graphical representation if you want to use graphics. Otherwise, you have to use some textual representations. Some of the informal notations that we're using for instruction style that the symbols වලින් බලුවොත්ම සමහරකට වඩා standard දැන් file symbol එක ගත්තොත් මේක file symbol එක you can use this symbol සාමාන්‍ය rectangle symbol එක පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන් Java GR file වල Java files වලට ඒ වගේම මේ ovals පාවිච්චි කරනවා මේ the symbols are actually based on Java environment, right? If you use this notation, these symbols, this diagram explains some of the idea that we can use for try some quizzes, past paper quizzes. These are the latest recent question paper here. I think it was last year. Can you try question number 5 here? Please, at least we can outline the answers for this question. Question 5. So, what is the use of software architecture documentation? In fact, this question carry 4 marks. At least if you can mention 2 importance, you will get 2 marks for this. So answer, what is the use of software architecture documentation? It provides high level system description, very simple terms, capturing vital design choices. So what it's a one use can be used as a tool that can use to describe, show, present other people the high level system details. What I mean by high level, it doesn't go into too many details, right? Example, like if you want to have a look on the ground from the aerial point of view, you can look at the ground from the air 10,000 feet. So where you capture very little details about the ground, forget about this satellite or other high-tech technology. It's capturing very less amount of details regarding the ground. So if you come down further, like say 10,000, 50,000, 500, 5,000 feet, then you can capture more details regarding the ground realities. Ground situation can be much better studied compared to 10,000 feet height view. If you further come down, you can get further information. That's what software architecture actually does, is that it captures initially high-level system view, right? And design choices made. Then second use that it can use as a communication tool. As a communication tool. So you want to present your ideas to other people. So this documentation will help that. This documentation can use to convey the ideas, system structure and design solution to other people very easily. It can use as a communication tool, a communication media, in other words. To convey system structure. To others. These are the two main purposes of use the use of documentation of software architecture. Then question 5 part B. It's asking out of these 7 views we discussed, in particular, describe generalization view and assignment view. Briefly explain these views with illustrative examples. So in that case, you have to explain what is generalization view means in terms of classes. Generalization in terms of classes is using in object-oriented designing and assignment view. So you don't need to go into very details, but in simple terms, very briefly explain the idea. It's sufficient to just explain the idea is more than enough with a simple illustrative example when it is required. Just convey your idea in very brief, simple terms. For example, generalization, you can explain that idea within 2 or 3 sentences. You don't need to write paragraphs. Not needed. Assignment buat ko ඇත්තට තමයි idea එක දල වශයෙන් සරලව ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න. A generalization view an assignment work assignment view in fact, this is actually a theory part. It's not needed to repeat them again, so we can very easily answer this question. Partly explain how software system can be decomposed into modules to support modifiability. Support modifiability. If you are given a task to decompose the system in a way that is helping the future modifiability. It's talking about design issues. Design issues, if you want to make the system more modifiable, very easy modifiable in the future, what is your solution now? How we are going to decompose your system to support that idea? In current situation, the future situation, we have to face for the future. That is to make the maintenance work easy. So for the future, what you should do now, right now? Then how we are going to decompose the system right now to support the idea of modifiability that comes in the future. So how we are going to decompose the system to support modifiability? We can give a couple of examples of a simple case is that if you can divide software modules which can be easily changed with others, stable and these blue circles are modules that are really stable modules. The blue circles are modules that represent stable modules. The white circles are modules that represent unstable module, frequently change. If you can do this separation, identify which parts are stable, which parts are not stable. ඒ separation එක කරගන්න පුළුවන් නම් at the very beginning that will help you to reduce the maintenance cost. Because you don't have to worry about the external stable parts. They won't change. So emphasis can be given to unstable part. So out of thousands of modules, let's say 600 modules are going to be very stable. Only 4,000 modules maybe is varying or not stable, frequently changing. එතකොට 10න් එතකොට 600 අමතක කරන්න. You can forget about the 600 which are really which are hardly changing, which identified as stable modules. So you can leave them out of the other modules which are supposed to change always. So අටික අමතක කළා අපි stable unstable modules වලට වැඩි අවධානය you can emphasize more on that. 1000 වලින් එතකොට 600 අයින් කරන් පස්සේ if you remove 600 modules then it's your job is making much more easy. Your task will be then it's easy rather than considering all 1000 modules together. So you remove the stable 600 from 1000. So only we have to 400 remaining for further analysis and discussions and future monitoring, further monitoring. The white cycle, maybe it's they are stable modules, they won't change much. So these blue circles represent the modules are frequently changing. So if you can do the division in this way, that will help maintenance. Question number 9 here. This regarding these different viewpoints we are considering discussing in the last chapter. Question number 9. Question 9 here, which of the following phrases describe the relation between modules and runtime components? When using a module and component connector view, in fact, the question is about asking you to, what the relation between the module view and the module structure and the component connector structure. Module structure and component connector structure. What is the relation between these two? What is the best describe how you map module view into component connector view? The method module and components. What are basically stuff means component identifies the executable entities of relevant modules. Executable entities. A component may hold executable entities. Please don't confuse regarding the deployment view and the component connector view. But deployment view captures the physical resources. There's a solution suggested. Karnataka suggested C, but it's the other way, I think. Name C name Kalipat Venoni. Module may execute code from different components. So Kalipat Venoni. Module doesn't execute. Module sama execute when no. The module represents something. Module represents the programs, the software elements that you are building. Software elements that you are building. So those are the things that want to execute. These are the stuff that you want to execute. Those represent the modules. Modules samai are components run in. I'm not talking about the physical resources. So module will map to components. Module will map to components at runtime level, at execution level. So make uttere venne eතකොට C නෙමෙයි අනිත් පැත්ත. B තමයි component may execute code from different modules. Component තමයි execute කරන්නේ. Components are the ones actually executing the stuff. උදාහරණයක් විදිහට මම දැන් software එකක් develop කරනවා. එතකොට දැන් software develop කරනවා. දැන් ඒ අවශ්‍ය කරන files ටික ඔක්කොම මම එකතු කර ගන්න ඕනේ. exe files, library files ඔක්කොම එකතු කරලා මම zip එකක් හදනවා. ඒ zip එක තමයි deploy කරන්න. එතකොට module මේ component view එකෙන් represent කරන්න මේ zip file එක. That all contain what is executable entities. So the component may execute code from different modules. So we can't say B when no C can pet. So answer is B here. Question 15. The documentation of software architecture for a system often composed of several views. What is the reason for this? Make a multiple solutions are possible. Why need multiple views? Because different stakeholders can have their own views. Different stakeholders can have their own views, own requirements could be there. For example, if it is a project development team, that view is different from the person involved in the product deployment. the man responsible for system engineer, for example, system engineer is responsible for deploying the software artifacts into different, allocate different resources into software resources. That's a system engineer's responsibility. So system engineer would be his interest is regarding the deployment view. Yeah, system engineer, yeah, network could be network engineer, right? Whoever it is take caring of the infrastructure, hardware, infrastructure and resources. So his system engineer is interested regarding the deployment view, whereas the project manager is interested on the work assignment view, because he's responsible regarding the product development. Stakeholders then project manager and the system engineer, two stakeholders involved. So project manager needs one viewpoint, and the system engineer takes interest in other viewpoint. In particular, system engineer is deployment view, and the project management is concerned on the allocation view or work assignment view. So A Hari partially, a single view would be too simplistic. It's not very sensible solution. Straight away, very lightweight, drop it. No rationale on that. So good. The Uttre A and C make. So each you describe different aspect of the system. That's true. No, we drop the answer B here. So make Uttre A and C. Answer is A and C. Question 14. Question 14. Yeah, let's B and D. I was just removed my headphones. Some other headphones say galavotte mein kya hindi nahi kiyenne. Headphones se daga headphones se man galavu hai ke jaye. B and D. Distributed architecture. What are the main features of distributed architecture? The main features are the computer nodes are distributed. Computer nodes are distributed and they are connected over the networks. It could be a local area network. Basically, it's wide area networks like internet. The distributed architecture, the main feature is that nodes are distributed in geographically and time-wise, no time zone. So nodes are distributed geographically mainly. Here support करना architectures ना the client server is client and one or many clients connected to one or many servers. Each server is providing some kind of functionality service to the clients. So client node server nodes, they are distributed components connected to the network. And also service-oriented style is again distributed like architecture, service-oriented. We have a service provider, the client server service-oriented. So they have common features like the client server service-oriented. There is kind of differences between them. So there is service registry component is there. The service providers will publish their services in certain place. The client will then look for these registries for information they require in order to invoke the service. The client server, there are only mainly two agents, client and the server side. If you take service oriented, there are three major, one difference that there are three agents. The service provider, the client, service request, and the registry component is there. So SOA is again a distributed like. So in fact, A and C mainly A and C the answers, right? As far as his basic outline concepts are concerned, hierarchical architecture, layered like distributed they're not distributed. It's like so layered architecture and data flow, they don't have direct the concepts of distributed architecture. They don't have this direct idea of distributed system does not convey in these two styles, B and D. So it's Uttara A and C. Of course, yes. I made a mistake here. No, it's not asking not distributed architecture. No? It's asking not distributed architectures. So Uttara B, D. ඔගොල්ලෝ හරි මේ අහන්නේ not කියන එකනේ. එතකොට ඒක අනිත් පැත්ත ගන්න ඕනේ උත්තරයට ගන්න වෙන්නේ B සහ D.